As my wife Christina is here, I'm glad you didn't say too much about the girlfriends. But Alan, we just worked out we met for the first time 56 years ago.
Yes.
We wouldn't have imagined then, would we? Well, first we wouldn't have imagined we'd still be alive now.
No, no.
But if we had imagined it, we wouldn't imagine.
I didn't plan to be alive.
We wouldn't have imagined that we'd be sharing our thoughts with a lot of old friends and some who are going to be new friends.
Yeah.
But before we get on to your memories, let's go back a bit further. How long have there been Landers in Worth Matravers?
I don't really know, if I'm honest. Certainly grandfather bought Hillview. I'm reputedly the fourth Lander to fish, so he would have been, father would have been the third generation, he would have been the second, so there should have been one more before, should be great-grandfather somewhere along the line, but I can't get into family trees. I have tried, but no.
Yeah, well, 100 years ago, your great-grandfather bought the house you now live in.
Yeah.
And that was as part of the events we're celebrating.
Yes, it's true.
How much did you have to pay, first of all?
Had a job to find the money, but it was £100. And his son helped him out. My father helped him out.
So, how old was your grandfather then?
No, he died. He wasn't well. He died fairly, reasonably young. I can't remember.
Was he a quarryman?
Yes, he was quite a good mason, I believe. Yes, but he went to London for operations and one thing and another, which in those days was quite an event to go to London anyway.
Yes. There used to be a photo in the pub of Charlie when he went up to London to broadcast with the BBC, but I think it's vanished now.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you know your grandfather?
I think I was 14 or 15 when grandfather died, but grandmother lasted. She went into her 90s. Then she left Hillview in trust.
So when your grandfather and your grandmother were living there, where was your father living?
In the railway carriage, which was Sunnybank.
Oh.
And I was born in the railway carriage.
You actually delivered in the carriage?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Was that a bit of a shock? Or in those days, did people always, by and large, deliver their children at home?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, there weren't any ambulances, were there?
No, Nurse Pushman probably had something to do with it. But, I can't remember.
Anyway, how long did you live in the railway carriage?
Till we actually started our married life in the railway carriage. And then Bill Welsh, we'd been married about 6 months, I think, and Bill Welsh said, if you'd like number 3 London Row, you can have number 3 London Row. So this is how we got into London Row.
So was that just as a gift?
No,
just as a tenants?
We rented.
Yes.
We rented.
Well, where did you meet Barbara?
Pool Speedway.
Pool Speedway.
Pool Speedway.
What were you doing there?
Watching them go round in circles.
And Barbara was into that as well, was she?
Yeah. I mean, we're still into motor racing and all the, we still.
Where was she living then? She wasn't in the village.
Parkston. She lived in Parkston, yeah.
Oh, well. And what did she think of moving to a railway carriage?
I don't know. I never didn't dare ring for her.
Yeah. Well, you were in number 3 when I bought number 7.
Yes.
And that's when we first
Yeah.
got to know each other, and that was 56 years ago.
Yes.
But I remember coming in to visit you, and there was Barbara bathing your daughter
Yeah.
in a tin bath in front of the open fire.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. What kind of amenities did you have in number 3 in those days?
Not very many. No.
And that was, I suppose, more or less part of the course.
Yeah, it was, yeah. We probably all had a bath in front of the fire, one after another.
Anyway, your father, going back a bit, was he was a quarryman?
He was, yes, we quarried and fished.
And fished.
We fished really, the fishing was the main part of it. But we did have a quarry, I think in 1932.
Yeah. Where was that?
Longworth Road,
Oh.
halfway between
Yeah.
here and Acton.
And you had one boat, did you, to fish, the family, or did you have more?
Yes. Well, no, they actually had 2 boats.
2 boats.
2 boats, yes. They had a double-ended one with an engine in and a smaller one that they used in the spring.
And where did you keep those?
Chapman's Pool,
Ah, yeah.
yeah.
And in those days, you would go out and fish, and if you had a good catch, what would you do with the catch? How would you get rid of it?
Most of it went to Robbins in Wareham.
Ah,
Wareham Fishmonger, and Fred Thomas before Robbins, and then green slates. We dealt with green slates. Father dealt with green slates before the war, and
did they have a van or something, or did you have to take it to them?
well, there used to be greengrocers, green slates, and used to come with a lorry with the banana. Father still used to eat bananas all the way from Chapman School back up to Yeah,
So the lorry would go down to Chapman's Pool and collect the fish.
yeah.
And who else was fishing there apart from your family?
There was 6 boats there. 6 boats in those days. Yeah.
Well, one of them was old Charlie Newman's son, wasn't that right?
Yes. Yes.
And he,
Sadly, yeah.
tragically,
Yeah.
he drowned there.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Shouldn't have been out there.
Rough?
Yeah.
Too rough?
A lot of swell.
Yeah.
The tide was just flowing. Worst time you could pick, really. One of those things. Yeah.
So, anyway, when you were a boy, where did you go to school?
I went to Acton School.
Yeah.
I done Spanish grammar.
So, you were at school until 18, were you? Was that the grammar?
No. I wanted to go fishing.
So,
I left school when I was 15, nearly 16, and I was really looking forward to leaving school, going to Chapman School.
Yeah.
You know, Father Charlie Hooper was fishing. My father at the time, he didn't really want me, but I quite happy to get in, and I thought, well, just a job, going to leave school. And about a week before I left, Mother said, "Oh," she said, "I've got your job," she said. "You start in Acres on Monday." And that was it. I spent a year in the ironmongers.
oh,
I started my life in the ironmongers.
and that was what, in Swanage?
College, yeah. Quite a big,
Yeah.
ironmongers at the time.
And behind the counter, were you?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see you wouldn't have liked that much.
Didn't want too much of that. Especially on those days like this.
Yeah. So anyway, you got out of that after a year.
Yeah, it's about a year, and Charlie Hooper, end of the summer, he said, he went back to Swanworth, he worked at Swanworth, and I went fishing for 52 years. Yeah.
And what fish were you after? Lobsters.
Lobsters.
It was the shellfish. You weren't.
Yeah, I mean, you've got crabs and
Yeah.
yeah, but lobsters were the pros.
Well, I remember very happily all the crabs that Barbara used to dress,
Yeah.
and that was quite an industry. When did she start doing that?
After the kids, once the kids got old enough to, you know, and they left home, and then she had more time and could get on with.
Yeah. So how many children did you have?
3,
3.
2 boys and a girl. Yeah.
And in 3 London Road, that must have been quite
It was quite
tight.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, your boys have followed in the family
They have now.
tradition, haven't they?
Yes. They both left school in the 70s, and the fishing wasn't very good. And I said to them, "You're not coming in to the fishing industry." I said, it was bad in the 70s, and they both got jobs on farm on the as you know.
Yeah.
One in Colin James, one John Strange, and yeah. And then they got made redundant. Charlie got made redundant, the younger one.
Yeah.
And
From farming.
yes.
Yeah.
And he was out of work for nearly a year. And I said to him, "You better come on with me and give me a hand." So that got him going, because he was never interested. Jeffrey always wanted to go fishing,
Yeah.
and the other one never. But they're both fishing. They're both happy with what they do.
Yeah. But now they used to have their boat at Chapman's Pool,
Yes.
and then there was a nasty incident, wasn't there?
Oh, with yes, Lobster Liberation Front.
Lobster liberation.
I reckon they cost us £10,000.
What, they smashed up the boat?
Smashed the engine, and Charlie lost several weeks' work because the boat just smashed the cylinder, hole in the cylinder of the engine. So that I think that was 4 or 5 grand in those days.
So where do they sail out of now?
Swanage now.
Yeah.
And they've got a berth in Poole. They spend a winter in Poole.
And they supply the fishmonger in Swanage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
I think everyone here knows that fishmonger. And everyone here, or almost everyone here, profits from the special discount given to old people on a Tuesday. Which is worth knowing about.
Yeah.
How old do you have to be?
How old do you have to be?
We don't know about that, do we?
This is news.
Oh, well, you want to ask, 10% off. I don't think you had to produce your passport to show your age. Well, I didn't have to show mine anyway. So, tell me, going back 50 or 60 years, when I managed to buy 7 London Row, now, people criticise people having second homes here. But in those days, the village was very run down, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Of course, we'd gone through a world war, hadn't we? And
Yeah.
things that during the war, the camp over there, at one time, I think there were 2,000 airmen over on the camp.
Yeah.
Um,
And you were here throughout the war, were you?
oh yeah.
2,000
2,000.
2,000 airmen, that takes
It's unbelievable.
some believing.
Yeah.
And were they allowed to go to the Square and Compass in the evening?
I spent most of them right there.
Queuing out of the door.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
I can remember they bombed the cookhouse. They dropped a bomb on the cookhouse. And Mother and I were stood at the door looking out, towards Winsbet, saw the two German planes going over, quite low.
Were they on their way home?
No, they were on their way.
On the,
Yeah.
so, do you think were the Germans deliberately trying to bomb the radar station here?
I think so. I think that was, yeah. They got the cookhouse.
Got the cookhouse.
I don't know, there was one or two killed there.
And they dropped some bombs on Swanage, didn't they?
They dropped bombs on Swanage, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They never ever got one on Worth.
Just as well.
Yeah, yeah. Chapman's Pool, there's an army was at Chapman's Pool. They had a pillbox down there.
Yeah.
And one landed about 100 yards from the pillbox.
Goodness.
Yeah. And the other one dropped out in the bay, 2 bombs.
You wouldn't have thought that Worth Matravers would be a
No,
centre for German bombers.
that's right. Good job they didn't know what was going on over there.
Yeah.
Father worked there.
Yeah.
He made the tea. He didn't invent the radar, he made the tea. And he went to Melbourne with them when they moved. More or less overnight, they moved
To where? Sorry.
to Melbourne.
Oh.
Yeah, they moved more or less overnight. Yeah.
Well, I remember the 2 great radar masts that were here
That's right.
after the war,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
There's quite a few smaller ones during the war.
yeah. And so I was trying to remember, when did they develop the new part of the village, all those houses there?
Winsbet Road, sort
Yes.
of. I mean, it started off on
Yeah.
1s and 2s, you know, and it
Yeah.
sort of built up. But
Yeah.
the plots were £200.
Were they owned by the Strange family?
It must have been.
Must have been,
Must have been.
yeah, yeah.
It must have been. But I know the plot started off.
Oh, look, we got a photograph here.
There we are.
That's 1954. Yeah, that's because that's Moonfleet. Moonfleet was completed in 54.
Well, tell us about the Coast Guard, because there's no Coast Guard anymore. But what were they after?
There are.
Were there
There's somebody in the lookout out there.
there's someone in the lookout,
Yeah.
but they're now basically concerned with safety,
Yeah.
yachts and that kind of thing.
I actually took, I can't think of his name. He was the deep sea pilot who started off this coast watch that is going now.
Ah,
And we met him, I mean, it's all arranged.
yeah,
Chap from Swanage, we met him up in Square in Campus and took him out to St Albans Head. And he said, when I've been piloting ships up and down the channel, he said, I've often looked at St Albans Head and thought it was a good place for a lookout.
ah,
And they got a lookout.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, when Coast Guards were living in Chapman's Pool, and there were Coast Guard cottages on the way to Weston, what was their preoccupation? What were they after, the Coast Guard there? Smugglers?
No, I don't think so.
No? There used to be a good smuggling trade there, but that was a bit earlier.
Good pass on that one. The army had those cottages during the war, and as I talked about the pillbox earlier on,
Yeah.
they had them, and they were barbed wire. Chapman's Pool was all. I can remember going down there with Father when I was quite young, and you zigzag through the barbed wire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And why did they knock them down?
they were afraid of falling down.
Ah,
1947, they knocked them down. Yeah, they were, and the path you could see the path just in front of it.
yeah.
That now has all gone, that's all slipped away, and it's right back to the footings
Yeah.
of the Coast Guard cottages. So had they stayed, they would have been
They'd
right,
have gone down
right
too.
on the, yeah, would have been right on the edge.
And were you a regular at the Square and Compass?
No,
You weren't? No, I-
better, no.
Because I was, and I was thinking to myself now, did I see Alan in there? And the answer was I didn't think I did.
No.
Was that because Barbara was too strict to let you go?
No, I've never sort of gone into.
Yeah.
Well, I have been out there a few times when we've had Coast Guard dues up
Yes.
and one thing and
Yeah.
another. But yeah, no, I
Now, we got another photo.
Bob Harris's lorry from a quarry. He had Winsford Quarry from a quarry company. It was Winsford Quarry, which I believe we're going to own. No, Trev's not.
Trev's not very well, no.
No.
And what are all these people? They don't look as though they're quarrymen somehow, or even all men.
The one on the front corner
Yeah.
is Eddie Corbin, who was Corbin and son.
Oh, yes.
That's, yeah. My father, I think, was in the middle of those three, and Nelson Burton's on the far side. Arthur Pryor, Sam Moore, George Miller, Paddy Gillespie in the middle on the back, Charlie Hooper. Charlie was fishing with Father. He was the one that packed up when I started.
So, can you remember when that was taken? Where were they all off to?
Where that was St Albans Head.
Off to St Albans Head?
Yeah, they used to keep the trailer. They had a shed
Yeah.
on the Coast Guard cottages up there, where they kept the trailer. In fact, at one time there was 2 horse-drawn trailers, and if we couldn't get a horse, a couple used to get in the shafts, and then we had ropes on the wheels that we could pull.
But all the stone would be taken by land, I imagine. Because in the old days it used to go in barges.
Yes, yeah.
But that, I suspect, was
Yeah, that was all of that.
in the 19th century.
Yeah, however they did it, I don't know.
Yeah.
How many days do you get quiet enough to...
I know.
to
Yeah. Calm enough to
Yeah,
have barges there.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, who's that?
That's, Bob Bugler. They had 4, used to be 4 horses. And I can remember that Tommy Bartlett used to, he was only a couple of years older than me, and we used to go at the end of the day and unharness the horses, and we'd ride, take them out in the field.
Right on the field?
Yeah, ride, yeah, one on one horse and one on another, and leading 2 more.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about the Bugler family, because they were
Yes.
a good Worth family.
Yeah.
And Georgie, in his old age, used to live behind London Row in a little hut.
Yeah.
They were farmers, were they, the Buglers?
Yes. Bob worked, I think he worked all his life on Hazel. Yeah.
And when you were a boy, how many farmers were there in the village?
So there was Weston where they did the mill,
Yeah.
Renscombe on again, Weston where they did the mill, this one in the village, and Compact. They kept the horses at Compact.
Oh, who have we got here?
Arthur James had a wooden leg.
Where's this?
He had Renscombe.
Renscombe, yeah. So, who lived at Renscombe in those days?
It was just there was Sam James, Colin, and there was another one that had Woody Ovid.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name.
And what did they farm there? Did they farm cattle?
Yes, yeah.
There'd be... Where would the milking take place? All at Weston?
No, they milked him.
They milked at Renscombe.
In fact, that is the cow sheds there.
Yeah.
This is the yard.
And then, when the cows were milked, what happened to the milk? How did that get to market?
Oh yeah. Must have been a lorry, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know strangers had their milk. They bottled the milk at Weston, and they had a pony and trap that they carried from this farm over here. This is a farm in the village. Carried the churns of milk in the pony and trap over to Weston to be bottled.
Oh.
And it went from there.
So it would go out in bottles from Weston?
Yes, it used to be bottles and sealed at Weston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, was there milk delivery in the village? So you'd have a bottle or two of milk outside your doorstep every day?
Yeah. Yes. It was a long time ago.
It is a long time
Think
ago.
about it. Yeah. In the cold winter of '62, by the bus stop, there was a Swanage firm delivering the milk, and it was snowing, and he couldn't get up the hill, and he chucked the milk on the bank. What was Bob Turner's, by the gate there.
Yeah.
It was freezing, and the milk froze up. he went on and left it there. He got halfway out the road, and he got stuck in the snowdrift, so he had to walk back to Swanage. But he left the milk. It's like in the deep freeze. We used to go out and get a frozen bottle of milk.
All in the bottles?
Well, yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, we had milk. Yeah.
How long did that last? Quite a while.
Yeah, because of the cold one there.
Yeah.
And once it had gone, there was plenty of milk because they couldn't get it away from the farms. So you could have as much milk as you wanted.
But that was an amazing winter. Was there a lot of snow down here?
There was a lot of snow.
Yeah.
14 foot deep. Some of the drifts. Yeah. Up Kingston Road. Some of the worst of it. I took quite a lot of photos, and I phoned the Echo, and I said, Bournemouth Echo, would you like... They said, put the film in the post, and they developed the film and printed one of the pictures of the snow.
I hope they gave you a good reward for that one.
I got all the prints.
Yeah.
But, I think there might have been a guinea.
A guinea? I think probably it's time to have a break. Can we say very great thank you to Alan?